5 types of technology and human trust. 1. Automations take over. Machine replace repetitive human tasks, reducing the needs for manual labor. Like for example lang dito is sa mga factory, di ba? They using a robots na for assemble instead of human workers. Parang nakakalis din sila sa mga pagpapasweldo if meron silang advanced robot, which is yun nga, gumagamit sila ng technology. 2. AI decision making. AI system analyze data and make decisions faster than human. Like for example is kapag nagpapa-approve ka na ng loan, di ba? Like pwede ka nang gumamit ng AI kahit sa mga bank, kahit hindi na yung mga human. Kasi dati kasi is yung ginagamit lang nila is yun nga, parang tinatanong muna nila sa mga nag-work doon. Pero unlike now, is pwede mo nang matanong yung concern mo or doon sa application for your bank kahit sa AI lang. Next is virtual assistant and customer service. Chatbots and AI handle customers' inquiries, minimizing human interactions. Like for example, sa mga online store, using AI chat support or adjust customer concern. Like, di ba, for example, sa mga Shopee, like kapag meron kang gustong itanong, pwede kang magtanong sa mismong customer concern, dun sa mismong setting niya, which is pwede kang magtanong, then yung sasagot is yung AI. Ganun. Kahit hindi mo na kailangan na hintayin pa yung mismong nagtitinda doon. Then, next is autonomous vehicles. Self-driving cars reduce the needs for human drivers. Like yun nga, parang yung kanina nga, is kahit hindi na ikaw yung nagda-drive, kahit yung mismong cars na yon is okay na. Like, makakaalis ka na kahit hindi mo gina-drive yung sasakyan mo. Then last is smart healthcare system. AI diagnoses diseases and suggests treatment faster than doctor. Like for example, ito nga. Like for example, kapag mayroon kang gustong malaman, di ba? Since we are advanced technology, so you can search it lang on your phone. If like for example, may nararamdaman ka, then you can search it na mas madali siya kahit hindi ka na magtanong agad sa mismong medical field on the doctor. Yeah.
What is nanotechnology and gene therapy? These are merging to create new possibilities for treating diseases with nanoparticles serving as efficient carriers for therapeutic agents and enabling precise gene editing. So without nanotechnology, imagine walang ganito, hindi tayo magi-improve as a modern country. Nanotechnology in gene therapy. Ano ba yung mga benefits nito? Isa sa mga benefits niya is enhanced delivery. Nanoparticles, which are tiny structures, which is yung mga hindi natin nakikita with our naked eye. So nakikita lang natin to using a microscope. Can be engineered to carry gene editing tools or therapeutic genes directly to target cells or tissues. So regarding with the nanotechnology and gene therapy is makikita natin dito is about modern lang, and dito yung mga possible na pwede mangyari sa future. Nangyayari naman siya now, pero possible pa siyang mag-evolve and mag-improve lalo in the future. Precise targeting. Nano carriers can be designed with specific surface properties to recognize and bind to particular cells or tissues, improving the efficiency and safety of gene therapy. So isa sa mga ginagawa sa nanotechnology and gene therapy is yung paggagamot, which is yung nire-recognize nila yung bind and particular cells, and ini-improve nila yung safety ng bawat isa. Improve stability. So from the world itself is nagiging stable, so mas lalo nilang ini-improve yun. Nanoparticles can protect therapeutic agents from degradation in the body, extending their effectiveness. So yung effectiveness sa katawan is mas lalong ini-stable and mas lalong ini-improve using the nanotechnology and gene therapy. Reduce side effects. By confining the therapeutic payload to the intended cells or tissues, nanotechnology can reduce off-target effects of systematic toxicity. Nanotechnology or therapy, gene therapy, which is nakaka-reduce din siya ng side effects, especially sa mga taong nakakaranas nito. Gene editing tools. Nanoparticles can efficiently transport gene editing tools like CRISPR-Cas9 to the target cells, promoting precise genome modification. So, may kita natin dito, hindi lang siya para sa general. So, kaya niya din targetin yung isang specific na particles. Monitoring gene expression. Kaya din pala ng nanotechnology na i-monitor yung gene expression natin based sa mga sensors, gamit yung monitors nila, expression, and other molecular events in real time. So let's back to the meaning of nanotechnology and gene therapy. Yung meaning nito is merging to create new possibilities for treating diseases. So, what is treating diseases? So, karanasan sa atin is yung mga gumagamit lang yan, or yung mga nagsasagawa lang yan is mga doctors or yung mga scientists. But using this type of technology, this technology can improve what our doctors can do and what our doctors can possibly do in the future. So, nanoparticles serving as efficient carriers again for therapeutic agents and enabling precise gene editing. Imagine us people, we don't develop this kind of AI, or we don't, though we can we don't have the resources to to invent like this kind of technology. Imagine maraming pwedeng mamatay or maraming pwedeng hindi magamutan ng diseases. So, ang mga sakit nila. So, we must be thankful, especially sa nag-invent nito, because nanotechnology and gene therapy is importante sa atin. Sobrang importante, especially sa mga sakit na hindi pa na-discover or nabibigyan ng lunas.
Technological self-sufficiency. As AI, robotics, and automation advance, machines may reach a point where they no longer require human programmers, engineers, or operators. AI-driven system could repair, improve, and replicate themselves, removing humans from the loop entirely. In this scenario, the economy, production, and even scientific discovery could continue without human involvement. Dahil sa bilis ng pagdevelop ng AI at automation, posibleng dumating ang panahon na hindi na kailangan ng tao para paganahin ang mga ito. Ngayon pa lang, may AI na kayang mag-repair, mag-upgrade at mag-improve ng sarili nilang systems. Kapag dumating ang punto na kaya na nilang mag-operate ng walang human intervention, maraming trabaho ang mawawala. Pwedeng patuloy pa rin ang pag-unlad ng economy, production at science, pero baka hindi na tayo ang may control. Post-human evolution. With advancements in genetic engineering, cybernetics, and artificial intelligence, the definition of human itself could change. If humans begin merging with machines, those who do not enhance themselves might be left behind, creating a divide between enhanced post-humans and biological humans. Eventually, purely biological humans could become irrelevant in a world dominated by super-intelligent beings. Dahil sa genetic engineering, cybernetics at AI, posibleng magbago ang mismong kahulugan ng pagiging tao. Pwedeng magkaroon ng mga taong may tech-enhanced abilities, mas matalino, mas malakas, at mas mahaba ang buhay. Pero hindi lahat ng tao ay gustong magpa-enhance o may access sa ganitong technology. Kapag nangyari ito, maaaring lumaki ang gap sa pagitan ng enhanced post-humans at mga biological humans. Eventually, baka dumating ang panahon na ang ordinaryong tao ay hindi na ganoon kahalaga sa mundo na dominated ng super-intelligent beings. Resource reallocation. If AI and automated systems optimize for efficiency, they may determine that human needs such as food, space, and energy are wasteful compared to more efficient digital or synthetic entities. In such a scenario, humans may be sidelined either intentionally or simply as a byproduct of technological advancement. Kapag naging sobrang advanced na ang AI at automated systems, baka makita nila na hindi efficient ang paglaan ng resources para sa tao. Halimbawa, ang pagkain, espasyo at energy na ginagamit natin ay pwedeng mas maayos na i-distribute sa digital or synthetic entities. Kung mangyari to, baka unti-unti tayong maisantabi, hindi dahil sinadya pero dahil mas pinili ng AI at machines ang mas efficient na paraan ng paggamit ng resources.